Hello again, Andy here with another video, this one I'm just going to showcase a few records I bought on my trip this weekend, just gone to London. Not a million miles from where I live, but it's a trip. I have to put the dogs in kennels and stay overnight and stuff. Anyway, I went primarily to see the Flaming Lips on Friday night. They were playing in Hammersmith at what is called now the Eventim Apollo, but you know, for us who have been around a long time, it's the iconic Hammersmith Odeon, which was the place where so many brilliant live albums were recorded back in the 70s. Anyway, it's an old venue. It was a great gig. It was their 20th anniversary playing of Yoshimi. They played the whole of that and lots of other stuff. But the next day I thought, I'm sort of in Hammersmith, and I was actually born not in the town part, but in the borough of Hammersmith, actually Shepherd's Bush, many years ago. My granddad had a shop there. I mean, family moved away from there when I was still a toddler, but I sort of vaguely remember it. So I went to have a look, see what my granddad's old shop was like, and it's nothing like it was, but also where that is not a million miles from Ladbroke Grove and a place called Portabello Road, where there's a market and I believed a bit of a cluster of record stores. I think I might have said I was heading for Petticoat Lane Market. I meant Portabello Road, so we arrived here in this little street market, but I'm here to find record shops, so let's go looking. Including the Rough Trade shop. So first one we've arrived at, Rough Trade. I bought loads of stuff from them online, but first visit to their store. So it's quite a small shop. I couldn't really take videos inside, to be honest, you know, they've got mostly new stuff upstairs, and I think they've got a downstairs as well, but no great bargains. I bought one record there, rummaging through. Actually, bizarrely, it was a record store day one, which I hadn't really noticed when I was looking through the stuff, but that's the only record I bought there, it is the Groundhogs and their album Crosscut Saw, which, I mean, I love the Groundhogs. I've got their earlier stuff, but not this one. It's not one I'd even heard of, to be honest. So I mean, it was £28, a typical record store day full price one. But I was intrigued. It sort of says on here, a gnarly precursor to punk that collides with Peter Green era Mac at its most studious, with a dash of prog for good measure. Now, that does sound a bit like me, and I've got many of the early Groundhogs records when they were more sort of blues rock and you know, even more pure blues. So I thought this was an interesting one. Tony McPhee, the guitarist, is the only one from the old school on there. So it was sealed. I have split the seal just to have a look, and it's on silver, and there's a download card in there. It's issued by Fire Records, and they're always really good with downloads, so you can always get high res and choose what you want from it. So that was Rough Trade. So I then sort of wandered around this market, and it was absolutely heaving with mostly tourists who were sort of ambling along at a very, very slow pace, sort of staring at their phones and stopping at all the tourist stalls. So it wasn't a particularly, I mean, it's a very big, long street market. Difficult to really look around, and I did find a couple of, I was sort of, you know, Google Maps, I was looking for where the record stores were, and I found another one fairly nearby rough trade, but actually it wasn't. It was stored by the side of the market. Didn't have a great deal of stuff. Prices were high. It was clearly targeting the tourists. So I had to navigate my way to the other end of the market. There were a couple of record stores noted on there, which I thought I'd try, and I found one, and it's called Blue Groove. I went in there, and it's a great little store, not massive. Well, that was a bit more successful. I bought 5 albums on here, mixed prices, but got a discount, so not bad. Lots of old school stuff. It was all used, not new. And they got some good jazz. Got loads of good electronic. But I'd found 5 records from there. So I got a bag. I got to get a train, and so I thought that would do. But I got a proper bargain, I think. I got the 5 records, came to 68 quid, and he knocked it down to 60 overall. So that's the best part of 12%. But this is my most intriguing one, and I should say it's a record store day. This was sealed, so this was a mint sealed one, £15, and it was a record store day of the debut album by Judas Priest. It came out in '74, Rock-a-Roller, and this is one I've had a look on Discogs just to sort of work it out, and it turns out it was a 2018 US issue for Record Store Day, as I say, in 2018. It's on Coke Bottle Green. I've got a couple of albums in that colour. It sort of seems a strange one, really. But this was a real bargain, because if you look at the Discogs prices that they go for, bear in mind I paid £15 for this. The average is 30-ish, I think. And you look at the prices being offered now. So mint sealed copies in the States are typically going for $60 to $70 plus postage. So I'm never really into Judas Priest, but they're on my list that I want to try if I find a decent price record. I mean, I know of them. They're from Birmingham, same place as I am, or I grew up anyway. So I'm going to give it a try. So another band, Little Feat, another 70s one, 12 quid this was. Visually they look in reasonable condition, the vinyl. This one's got an owner's name, Kieran, written on it, but it was only 12 quid, so I don't mind. I've not bought these for value, to be honest, bought them to listen to. This came out, I think this was just before their live album, something Columbus, forgotten what it's called now, which I have and love. So I thought I'll give it a go for 12 quid. In fact, 12 quid less, 12%. An interesting one. So 10cc are a band. This is 10cc. It's called Look Here, despite the huge writing of Are You Normal? And this comes from, I think it's 1980. It's around then. It's later than the stuff I've got. I've got sort of 3 of their mid-70s records. And this one is after Godley and Cream left. So it's basically Eric Stewart and Goldman, who are the more poppy end of it. So I'd be intrigued to hear this, what it's like. It's not one I know. It was £15. It says posters. It's got an original poster in there. I'm not too bothered about that. Another one. This one was £10. So Wishbone Ash and There's the Rub. So this came out after I've got most of the early, I've got all of the early Wishbone Ash up to Wishbone 4, and this was their 5th album, their 5th studio album, and it's one. The cover is really familiar, So I'm thinking I may have had it back when it was issued, and then lent it and didn't get it back, or sold it or something. I don't think so. Or possibly I just borrowed it off a friend. I can't remember, but I've obviously heard it at the time because the cover is much more familiar than it would be otherwise. So 74 that came out. Give it a try. And coming down the price range to £8 now, and this is John and Vangelis. Let me pull it out of here because it's a bit. John and Vangelis private collection. Yeah. So this I think was 83. I have the, and I had it at the time. There, I think 1980, maybe 81 album. What's it called? There's something of Mr. Cairo. I've forgotten the exact name. The Friends of Mr. Cairo. That's right. And I love that album. It's absolutely brilliant. With and John, of course, on here is John Anderson from the singer with Yes, and obviously Vangelis is Vangelis, as everyone knows. So I'm looking forward to that. And last, and well, I don't know whether it might be last and least or last and not least. One I just don't know. It was £8, and it's Asia, the first album they had, and this is early 80s, 82 maybe, and Asia are, I mean, I know of Asia, I just don't know their stuff. They're a sort of 80s prog supergroup of, real high flyers from the prog days in the early 70s. So you've got John Wetton, who was the bassist and vocalist, who was in King Crimson amongst others. Steve Howe, of course, the guitarist from Yes. Carl Palmer, drummer, Atomic Rooster, and of course Emerson, Lake and Palmer, and a guy called I don't really know, Jeffrey Downs, who was the keyboard and vocals. So I don't really know. I mean, I heard the name, but I don't know him, to be honest. So again, I don't have it. It was £8 less the discount. So that was my stuff from Blue Groove. There was another one I wanted to have a look at, which was quite close to that. I was intrigued by the name, to be honest. It's called Honest John's Records. So, but I was running out of time by now, and I bought sort of as many as I wanted to and could carry. And I thought, if I go in there and it's good, I'm going to end up buying another 5 or 6 because I've got no willpower. By this stage, it was about, I don't know, it's sort of lunchtime, and it was absolutely heaving. You couldn't move. It was unpleasant. It was a nice warm day as well. So I headed to Ladbroke Grove tube station, which was sort of like just nearby, and back to Waterloo for my train home. So that was my trip to London this weekend, and some decent little haul of records, I think. Thanks for watching. See you.